Can you please be upstanding for the academic procession? Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, declare open this congregation convened for the purpose of presenting degrees. Distinguished guests, parents, relatives, friends, and most importantly, the graduates with us today. Welcome to the University of Adelaide's graduation ceremony. We acknowledge the Kaurna people, the traditional custodians of the land on the land of the Adelaide Plains, and therefore the land on which the university's 3 campuses are built. We acknowledge their continuing spiritual connection with our land and pay respects to their elders past and present. This graduation is a small sign that life is returning to normal, now that COVID-19 poses only a limited threat in South Australia. We're delighted to welcome those of you who are physically with us on our beautiful campus. And we also extend a warm welcome to those who are watching the live stream of this ceremony. We are pleased that you've been able to join us online for the ceremony. I'd like to take just a moment to acknowledge our health and medical alumni for their contributions during the pandemic. It's the first time that we have faced a pandemic of this proportion, and the efforts of our medical graduates and our nursing graduates on the front line have been of crucial importance in the battle against the virus, both within Australia and all around the world. It's also important that we acknowledge the milestones that have been reached this year under the shadow of COVID-19. Last year, the Adelaide Dental School celebrated a 100-year anniversary. And this year, our Malaysian alumni network, to which many of our health, dental and engineering graduates belong, is celebrating 25 years. Graduates, your graduation is an event in which you and your family can take great pride. It is certainly a matter of pride to the University of Adelaide to see your successful completion of your courses. Graduation Day is an opportunity for you to reflect on the past, what brought you here, and on the future that lies ahead of you. Graduation Day can mark an important transition in your life. Whatever direction your life may take from here, the knowledge that you've learned, the skills that you've acquired here, should stand you in good stead, not just in your working and professional life, but for your whole life. I'm now delighted to be able to introduce to you today's graduation orator, Ms. Wendy Keach. Wendy Keach is CEO of Health Translation South Australia, one of 10 advanced health research and translation centres accredited in Australia. These centres bring together the expertise and strengths of partner organisations to accelerate the rate of translation of evidence into healthcare, to improve the health system and positively impact patient outcomes. Wendy has also worked at Samari's Aboriginal Health Research Unit and was Director of Cardiovascular Health at the National Heart Foundation. Wendy is very pleased, I know, to have the University of Adelaide as a foundation partner in Health Translation SA, and we are very pleased to be a partner in that enterprise. Wendy is also a member of the University of Adelaide's Health and Biotech Advisory Board, and we're extremely grateful for her for undertaking this role. We're privileged to hear from Wendy today. Please welcome Ms. Wendy Keach.
To the Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, the Honourable Cathy Branson, AC and QC, the Interim Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, Professor Mike Brooks, distinguished guests, members of the staff, and especially the University of Adelaide 2020 graduates who are here today, I thank you for the opportunity to give this address. I would like to also acknowledge that we're meeting on Kaurna land. I'd like to pay my respects to Elders past, present and future, and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in the audience, particularly First Nation graduates here today. Your education achievements are very important, so congratulations. As Cathy mentioned, I'm the CEO of Health Translation SA. It is an NHMRC accredited centre, and we actually are there to be translating research into practice. As she mentioned, we're a statewide partnership that includes Adelaide University, Flinders University, University of South Australia, Samari, SA Health and Health Services under the SA Health banner. That includes all the hospitals and also a number of primary care services. We also link with the general practices across the state and the Aboriginal Health Council of South Australia. Together, we identify problems in the health system and build collaborative approaches to find solutions to improve health outcomes. We do this by building and using research findings and the best available evidence to inform all projects. We also work to embed research within the health system. We have a range of projects at the moment on the go that are all relating to key priority areas in the state. They include mental health, ageing, and looking at the way data is used efficiently. Our translation centre is, as a translation centre, we are focused on the benefits of research to consumers. What difference can research actually make to patients and their families, to clinicians and other service recipients? did you know that there's actually a significant time lag of around 17 years between having new findings in health and medical research and actually making a difference in people's lives? We're working to accelerate that time lag. Typically, we work with our partners, community members and other stakeholders to bring the right people together to develop solutions to address big challenges. Our aim is to truly have impact. That's why we've been set up as a translation centre. So that brings me to this year, 2020. I imagine it's been quite a challenging year for you all. What a way to finish a degree that you commenced in completely different circumstances than the year you've just lived through. Interestingly, your response to such a challenge could be an important learning for your career. Being flexible and able to and having the ability to adapt to change are very valuable traits in the working environment. To me, 2020 has been a year of focusing and then refocusing, adapting to get things done, to have an impact. 2020 has taught me many things, with the key findings being that the foundations that we've built across the state and across the country, particularly our trusting relationships and collaboration, have allowed us to be positioned to be part of the COVID-19 solutions. Many of you will have heard of Professor Nicholas Spurrier, the Chief Public Health Officer for South Australia, and you may have also heard of the SA COVID Task Force. The task force has been making decisions on how the state responds to the pandemic. What you may not be aware is that Health Translation SA, along with a couple of other organisations, helped bring together a team of researchers, epidemiologists, librarians, academics, public health experts, data analysts, consumers and health service leaders to gather and synthesise the international evidence to inform the task force's decision-making. We had to mobilise this very quickly, and it was quite a busy week or two. But it's still going, and we did this because we had established relationships that enabled us to identify and coordinate the right people and the right skill sets. This effort has been very important in South Australia's success of COVID. But what I want to actually share with you today about this collaborative approach, it's not just relevant to health or the work we do. This approach is relevant within and across many sectors to solve major challenges, whether it's engineering, space, agriculture, management, just to name a few. It's happening all over the world. The rise of the medtech industry is a great example. Teams of engineers, entrepreneurs, government officials, data scientists, clinicians, space scientists and human movement experts are working together to create technological solutions to improve people's lives. During my career, I've seen a real shift from people working individually to people working in teams. Collaboration is the contemporary way of working across Australia and internationally, and funding bodies and corporations are now prioritising this approach. Whilst this all sounds straightforward and sensible, in reality, collaborations require effort and coordination, and both the people and the organisations involved need to have the right outlook, the right approach. To realise their potential, they need to bring together teams of people where their skills can be complemented by different skills and different approaches. Teams of people where people can listen and they don't always need to be right. Teams of people where people can navigate the complexity of issues together, and teams where people value open and transparent communication. Teams where the whole is more than the sum of the parts. In some situations, this is requiring a significant paradigm shift from a world built on competition to one that revolves around connecting the dots and that we are better together. The international efforts around the COVID-19 vaccine are a great example of where this is actually happening. The experience of our translation centre and the 9 other translation centres across Australia, especially during the time of COVID, suggests that this is a way of working that is essential, and it is actually a great experience to be part of co-design collaborative initiatives. So I have some take-home messages for you all today, and take them as you will. As you plan your future, be ready to be part of one of these collaborative teams. Look forward to it. Plan to soak up everything you can. Your degree has provided you with a vital opportunity to learn, but the opportunity you're going to learn from others in the working world will be enormous and stimulating and absolutely worthwhile, but also challenging. Be prepared to be flexible. If you think you have a clear path that's going to take you in a fixed direction, be prepared to consider interesting options that may come along. I've had many during my career. Don't hold on to things too tightly. Be prepared to listen and change your mind. Appreciate that things are rarely black and white. There is a lot of grey, and working in the grey space is often normal, especially when trying to solve complex problems. Use your initiative. It's important to understand that there will be times when you will not be given a roadmap or clear direction, that you may be asked to start with a blank piece of paper or at least a blank screen, and you'll need to work with others to imagine and create something new. Give it a go. Keep in touch with the research world. Combining your professional work with research will have many benefits and maintain your inquiring mind. Be open to new and emerging careers. Areas that are using state-of-the-art technology need great thinkers who can think outside the box. So finally, as your career evolves, you will find things that match your strengths and motivate you. When this happens, take the opportunity to learn more about them. Do the training course, enrol for that new degree, do a master's or a PhD. Continuing to learn throughout your career will motivate and fulfill you, and perhaps even take you down a path you never anticipated. So celebrate your success to date, congratulate yourself, acknowledge the role your parents played, acknowledge your achievements, and be ready to enter the next phase of your life as a collaborative problem solver who is ready to work with others to be part of a solution. Enjoy the journey.
On behalf of the graduates and their families attending today's event, I'd like to thank Ms. Wendy Keach for her stimulating and inspiring address. We are honoured that you have taken the time to join us on this special day to share with us your thoughts and experiences. Your words of encouragement and advice are greatly appreciated. They remind us that education places upon each of us an enduring responsibility to make the best possible use of our talents and to contribute to the betterment of our society in whatever way we can. Please join me in once again thanking Ms. Wendy Keach.
I will now receive the candidates for degrees. I call on the Interim Vice-Chancellor and President.
Chancellor, I, Professor Mike Brooks, Interim Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, certify to you and the whole University that the graduates who will be presented to you have all fulfilled the conditions prescribed for admission to the award for which they are so presented.
I, Catherine Branson, Chancellor of the University of Adelaide, by virtue of the power committed to me by the University, confirm that each graduate is admitted to the rank and privileges of a holder of the award in the University of Adelaide for which they are so presented. I call on the Dean and Head of the Adelaide Dental School, Professor Richard Logan, to present the graduates.
Chancellor, I, Professor Richard Logan, Dean and Head of the Adelaide Dental School, present to you graduates from the Adelaide Dental School. Graduates, we ask that you please stand at your seats when your name is announced, and please hold your applause until the end of each degree. To the degree of Bachelor of Oral Health, Sakna Al-Rashid, Kate Elise Bate, Magdalena Thomas Buhatwa, Donna Dedich, Phoebe May Dwyer Monahan, Brittany Kate Ellis, Matilda Ray Elms, Zara Fazeli, Jessica Rose Fuller, Madeline Elaine Glenn, Christy Ray Hershassen, Rebecca Huang, Ranwan Ho, Laura Amelia Jarman, Daljit Kaur, Kevin Du Lee, Saja Majid, Alicia Marciano, Mai Nok Nguyen, Chelsea Marie Pavlovich, Hannah Joy Robertson, Melissa Ann Ross, Nadia Eva Rossi, Zoe Stapley, Letitia Ray Sikora, Jasmine Lara White, Lauren Jane Wilson, Sinead Gale Wright, and Yoselin Suarez. To the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Rawinda Pal Singh Baljit Singh, Jay Bion, Ryan Chan, Chan Yan K. Nicole, Yung Seng Chi, Cheong Pei Wen Joanne, Joshua Chong, Tarin Lisa D'Souza, Seong Sheng Eng, Nisal Gunawadina, Bina Dishan He, Zen Shen Ho, Lin Hung, Olivia Rose James, Tessa Elise Jensen, Kerr Kai Ling, Su Hong Ku, Sritha Ram Krishnan, Shu Hoi Kwok, Emily Chen Sing Law, Samuel Yi Law, Bridget Lee, Ryan Lee, Yen E. Amy Lee, Yong Jun Lee, Jun Yi Lau, Gitanjali Mamutul, Saidipan Mohanadas, Nicole Zilen Ayenza Montano, Sarah Wei Ng, Soon Jo Ng, Yu Sun O, Li Yang Mei Ong, So Hyung Park, Alexander Tien Am Pham, Yu Fang Sito, Janahan Shan Muganantha Kumar, Leah Manisha Sidhu, Mansoor Singh, Bennett Sun, Yan Singh Rachel Tan, Yi Chan Hewitt Tan, Joey Yi Tay, Wing Yi Tong, Yu Siu Wong, Ai Cheng Wu, Sin Eun Yap, Ji Chun Yao, Jung Ye, Ashley Yeo, Andrew Yin, Zachary Ong Ying Bin, and Tamara Yi Ling Zhang. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Science in Dentistry, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Samuel Michael Bereza, Emma Kathleen Branson, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Catherine Jian Yuan Chen, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Surgery, Calvin Chung, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Lucas John Ciacciarelli, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Isabella Rose Gidanelli Matheson, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, James Kim, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Bianca Kwong, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Arya Rao, also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Dental Surgery, Shania Maria Senanayaka, and Gunjan Verma. To the graduate certificate in oral health science, Sama Agili, James Ioannidis, Pawan Ahmadi, Hannah Millicent Berman, Kyla Berman, William James Pillay Carlson Jones, Louise Mary Edwards, Caroline Grace Falconer, Samantha Lee Galpin, Ellen Cassandra Hood, Chi Yi Shao, Shivani Kashyap, Larishna Ramasamy, Margaret Mary Selvey, Robert Andy Olivieri, Melissa Joy White, Edwina Mary Williams, and Ebony Ray Woods. To the degree of Doctor of Clinical Dentistry, Si Ying Celine Chan, Talon Chu, Oi Ying Lydia Ng, Ahmed Adam Wahab, and Keng Soon Yeo. To the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled An In Vitro Study of the Failure of Short Fibre Reinforced Composite Post and Core Restoration of Endodontically Treated Teeth, Dr. Fawzia Salim Al-Zarani. For a thesis entitled The Utilisation of Craniomaxillofacial Radiology in Preventative Medicine, Dr. Sarah Constantine. And for a thesis entitled Psychometric Properties of the Perceived Stress Scale, Social Support Scale and Sense of Personal Control Scale in Aboriginal Australian Populations, Dr. Pedro Enrique Ribeiro Santiago. Chancellor, this concludes the presentation of graduates for the Adelaide Dental School. I now present graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences. To the degree of Bachelor of Health and Medical Sciences, Yu Hyung An, Fatma Aref Abdul Bari Madi Al Mansouri, Uthiani Jaganathan, Mariam Bahadori, Katarina Barbaro, Benjamin Daniel Barry, Anusu Bepete, Ella Charlotte Rozelle, David James Brewer, Jamie Lee Burden, Charmante Busasa, Matthew Calvito, Gianfranco David Carosi, Emma Anna Jane Cheney, Zhen Zhu Cheng, Hui Yung Chin, Yumeo Chu, Luke Daniel Korish. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Psychological Science, Maria Piedad Cortez Aguirre, Kelly Dang, Amelia Nicole Parkinson Davies, Charmaine Dawson, Caitlin Jade Drummond, Kane Mark Elson, Zach Etherington, Panayotis Fitikides, Michael Gallo Marino, Stefania Dora Gentlecore, Maria Edriza Gozar, Amy Jane Hamblin, Chelsea Ivy Hammond, Megan Christina Howell, Jingyi Alvin Hugh, Madeleine Hughes, Olivia Anna Jord, Kethmi Sunara Jayasundara, Ronald Kamanya, Jared King. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Psychological Science, Yuka Kong, Renee Brenda Kosonen, Emily Kovachev, Akon Guy Kur, Grace Catherine Langley, Lachlan James Lee, Cheng Lu, Zongyu Lu, Jacqueline Logue, Carly Melissa March, William Richard Mackay, Jessica Emily Merrill. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Psychological Science, Brad Anthony Raymond Mills, Alexander David Nettleback Monteith, Ryan Mark Morrow, Sheridan Nikki Mudge, Armin Miminovich, Matilda Nichols, Amelia Namranta Noon, Joshua John O'Callaghan, Rima Okoidigun, Jessica Ann Park, Christopher Allen Paul, Rebecca Platonis, Sarah Prostran, Huey Shao, Joanne Yuan Shao, Kerry Ridgway, Leah Rigon, Amelia Rinaldi, Deanna Alyssa Sabadin, Kristen Sainato, Eric Cialis, Shamsher Singh, Emily Tran Slaney, Carmela Ann Soltis, Dean Jacob Strager, Strata Suresh Kumar, Ching Ye Tay, Michelle Elizabeth Tester, Angeline Rhonda Thompson, Thomas Thalburn, Lucy Jane Turner, Sylvia Alice Berner, Priscilla Vokolis, Meng Bi Wang, Sing Yung Wang, Emily Claire Wyatt, Alicia Williams, Si Wing Wong, Xuan Ni Tran Win, Wan Tung Yam, Alexander Robert Yo, Sherlin Yong, and Yutong Zhang. To the degree of Bachelor of Health Sciences, Altamish Azib Ali, Himanshi Bhatia, Lachlan Andrew Blythe, Sarah Pirilli Butt, Angelica Mercedes Carvajal Barbin, Ansun Kronji, Amelia Joanna Davies, Cole James Brandon Durant, Emma Rose Leslie Eckert, Araj Hather, Catherine Jane Lake, Janika Lee, Carmen Mack, Lauren May Martin, Caitlin Matthews, Matthew William Nakoni, Mithma Bazika Palapitia, Milana Prostrin, Paul Russo, Connor Anthony Short, and Benjamin Martin Wyman. To the degree of Bachelor of Health and Medical Sciences Advanced, Denzel Arevalo, Kurt Magnus Bierlein, Joshua Thomas Bilski, Louisa Capella, Kim Justine Kowalling, Bailey Michael Deverell, Rudy Ding, Monique Kate Duran, Jessica D'Souza, Fenella Hall, Nicole Hannah Rivero, Megan Alice Hargraves, Vivian Heng, Aidan Michael Hilliard, Jack Henry Jeans, Nigar Dang Leong, Sophia Michaela Lorenzetti, Fiona Liu, Elizabeth Sin Ning Ng, Sandra Pham, Ishra Prasad, Tanisha Prashar, Georgette Alexandra Radford, Joshua Luke Robinson, Jackie Steele Scott, Ebony Seidel, Kezia Jane Skeen, Lee J. Murray Solano, Alexander Lewis Watson, Oscar Daniel Watson, Jenny Weng. Also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Madison Page Wilson, Nathaniel Yap, Sharif Zah, and Mary Zhao. To the degree of Bachelor of Health Sciences Advanced, Zoe Amelia Steinhardt and Veronia Zilm. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Health and Medical Sciences, Zain Alabedin Amro, Georgia Sheridan Clark, James Clark, Sean Andrew Quidland, Vaughan Anthony Duggan, Ryan Bradley Fullwood, Tara Elise Gukul, Halimatal Mazrini Binti Haji Mazri, Kiana Hansen Fernandez, Shanna Lee Hosking, Alex Marie Howard, Tatiana Hubchenko, Emerance Ishemwe, Anna Ann Kalakarian, Esma Karamaz, Serena So Duen La, Akriti Lath, Sebastian Oliver Levesque, Man Ying Lee, Madeleine Emily Lilburn, Paolo Maroma, Kate Louise Matthews, Alex Minopoulos, Claudia Niramit. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Health Medical Sciences, Bright Nkrumah, Hayley Bridget Parkinson, Freshta Rahimi. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, April Dimities Rivers Kennedy, Braden David Rose, Ahmed Ismam Sabab, Daniel J. Sansom, Hosanna Sarah Matthew, Ashley Kate Schneider, Ines Semendrich, Sarah Madeline Short, Sibella Alice Bridal Hare, Sri Sankavi Sivasankar, Shannon Michaela Stuckey, Laura Joy Trainer, Adam Vanson, Alana Vericchio, Taylor Jade Wayne, Andrew Waters, James Michael Whitehead, Vasiliki June Willett, Kelly Wise, Claire Shen, and Joshua Paul Zechner. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences.
Chancellor, I, Professor Peter Ashman, Director, People and Infrastructure for the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences, present to you graduates from the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences. To the degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Runje Hao. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Engineering, Muhammad Amin Abdul Rafid, Abu Farhan Abu Qasim, James Christopher Acott, Muhammad Imran Ahmud, Sarida Ahmadi, Asma Muhammad Rashid Al-Samri, Keshika Alajiyagi, Cassandra Alberto. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Ramzi Al-Mughrabi, An Jit Do. Also receiving the Diploma of Languages, Mia Apollonio, Lukman Al-Hakim Arapain. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Samuel Thomas Arthurson, Bei Feng Xian, Bao Shun Han. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Chantel Badardin, Courtney Isabel Barnett. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, James Aldrin Busbus. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Daniel James Bendo. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Christian James Bennett. Mike Tanji Balang, Kaushik Bilamoria, Nabil Monia Ben Ahmad, Ainsley Bosch, Jason Butler, Joshua Alexander Callisto. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Georgina Maria Carter. Georgia Paula Castagnani, Jed Riley Castry. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Teresa Cavallo. Chung Zin Chai. Aaron Zhuyong Chan. King Wo Wallace Chan. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Selena Chang. Guo Chang Chen. Kai Chen. Shilin Chen. Yen Yi Chu. Phoebe Georgina Chilman. Ashley Mei-Ling Chin. Woon Huan Choi. Jia Chung Chu. Ming Yin Chung. Henry David Clifton. Jake Lawrence Cole. Anthony Albert Corbo. Brady Ryan Kutz. Jaden Lee Crossing. Adrian Domenico D'Amico. Vin Wang Dong. Kayla Geraldine David. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Jenny Christina Day. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Leon Arthur Dimitrakopoulos. Zhe Xian Ding. Fu Sen Duan. Sarah Ether. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Paul Christopher Elson. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Ellen Magdalena Emmett. Thomas Edward Fallon. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, James Stewart Feeney. Jennifer Antoinette Feliciano. Yang Jun Fung. Yuan Fung. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Liam James Flaherty. Tobias Rees Flett. Nicholas Vincent Focaretta. Also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Elizabeth Jane Fotheringham. Melanie Fragoulis. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Tyrone Michael Franchito. Tharuka Dulukshi Galaputri. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Clint David Gamlin. Adam John G. Iman Ghaffari. Michael Dekonga Najuru. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Harrison Julian Gloyn. Thomas Godey. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Brian Go. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Declan James Cranston Gray. Nicholas Frank Grillo. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Lachlan Emerson Griville. Tu Yi Ha. Emily Nicole Hack. Rachel Claire Hampton. Hafiz Shami Hanizar. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Thomas George Harms. Eleanor Francis Collier Harryhill. Chad Taylor Harris. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Nicholas James Hayes. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Lucy Francesca Hazeman. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Olivia Hazeman. Jaden Christopher Hayward. Tayabar Hazari. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Samuel James Henderson. Aaron Ben Hasey. Sui Shan Ho. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Oscar Jeremy Holmes. Zachary Paul Holmes. Jennifer May Howie. Han Huang. Wu Huang. Jordan Robert Hughes. Nok Bit Yip Puin. Kassidit Itakompan. Liam George Van Pelt Jagelski. Aina Nadia Jamal Abdul Nasir. Samuel Patrick Jordan. Jia Chung Ju. Julian Ung Chung Luen. Nico Mugweru Kahindi. Noor Ahira Kamar Baharin. Jack Thomas Kelly. Koi Mai Chin. Noor Natsira Kosami. Queen Bao Lug. Hyun Gyung Kim. Kostadinos Kotsamitis. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Jacinta Micah Crutchman. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Darcy James Spencer Kraljev. Catherine Lally. Lok Yan Lam. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Francesca Laritza. Ho Tin Lao. Hil Chun Lei. Quinn Mai Fun Lei. Nyok Lei Tun Bo. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Eugene Lee. Jia Min Lee. Min Su Lee. Wei Sin Lee. Paul Leone. Liao Chai Yi. Calvin Lee. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, James Lacardi. Lin Chi Pham. Chung Huai Liu. Lam Yui Jung. Ignatius Hadrian Laviatu. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Jason Liu. Jia Chung Liu. Chian Fei Liu. Wen Hao Ma. Adrian Mack. Amanda Aravindi Maduma Hawagai. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Tharadu Renisha Malidua Aranchigay. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Alexander Philip Manariatus. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Pablo Maroma. Brady Dale Martin. Nurulain Akmal Mat Josol. Jacob Jeffrey McCarthy. David Lawrence McDonough. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Cameron Paul McPherson. William John McPherson. Adib Hafafi Muhammad So. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Jake Andrew Miller. Muhammad Afiq Daniel Ben Muhammad Hafiz. Muhammad Ainuddin Muhammad Taquddin. Patrick Johnston Moore. Samuel David Morton. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Kelly Murfitt. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, George Jisharu Mwanji. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Chantel Sanju Narayan. Ahmad Jihanzeb Nasim. Huin Jom Anwin. Khan Zhang Nguyen. Mai Jin Fun Nguyen. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Min Lei Nguyen. Phuc Win Cho Nguyen. Tay Nut Nguyen. Yan Nguyen Jun. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Van Ton Nguyen. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Josh James Niven. Armin Norhizam. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Natasha Janelle Orme. Jan Jin Pong. Jordan Matthew Parker. Avikumar Devdatbai Patel. Alexandra Paley Vanidis. Daniel Christopher Pirelli. Hugh Hun Pham. Phuc Min Nu Huang. Matthew Corey Priest. Alistair Layson Price. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Dave Rattan. Matthew Reynolds. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Mark Robertson. William James Robinson. Mahmoud Hazim Rosti. Gemma Rossi. Patrick Fletcher Corley Royal. Nathan Anthony Ryan. Wasim Sayad. Intan Suraya Salahuddin. Aitav Solugia. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Priya Darshini Saravadun. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, James Pryor Sawyers. John Chanella. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Benjamin Thomas Shue. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Vaibhav Shekhar. Ashley Matthew Soroka. Noor Atira Afifa Binta Sezali. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Matthew Anthony Shannon. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Nuraga Sarifi. Nicholas Sieros. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science, Dylan Luke Simonson. Stelios Luigi Sinonu. Amelia Skier. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Stefan Smilanich. James Martin Smith. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Toby Guy Smith. Marco Antonio Sordillo. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Toby Michael Sorokin. Samuel Maxim Stapleton. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Sally Roanne Steele. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Jacob Luke Stolznow. Giselle Louise Stutzer. Ruer Shi Sun. Jianwei Sun. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Sally Tan. Brenda Tan-Wei Chen. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Jimmy Tang. Chiao Tong. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Science Biotechnology, Sigiridia Amelia Tangay. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Mathematical and Computer Sciences, Matthew Clifford Tearley. Tin Hui Jun Nguyen. Ellen Margaret Thomas. Vanya Todorovich. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Charlie Tran. Jung Lei Nia Zhang. Joe Jordan Tripodi. Ephthemios Siflides. Isaiah Paul Turner. William John Paul Tyler. Wyndham Nya Nguyen. Lucas Van Wansel. Panayotis Vasos. Kayla Wallstrom. Michael James Walker. De Hong Wang. Dia Wang. Zhe Dong Wang. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, George William Waterhouse. Shannon Wirakobi Cody. Samuel Kobe Wally. Jin Hung Wu. Hui Yu Shu. Yi Jia Shue. Feng Yi Yong. Lu Yong. Wu Yong. Adam Zachary Gordon Yates. Li Hong Yue. Martin Liang Yiv. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Crystal Nie Yong. Also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Rami Zahir. Vasily Zelinsky. Fan Jun Zung. Zhe Jia Jun. Li Jing Jun. Yuhao Rei Zhong. Yongyi Zhao. Zeping Zhao. Yi Juin Zhou. And also receiving the degree of Bachelor of Finance, Alessandro Carmine Zollo. To the honours degree of Bachelor of Engineering and Bachelor of Arts, also receiving the Diploma in Languages, Gregory James Douglas and Oscar Jun Ogai. To the Graduate Diploma in Engineering, Civil and Structural, Fahad Salim Butt. To the degree of Master of Sciences Defence, James Alistair Gurley. To the degree of Master of Engineering Civil and Environmental, Feng Jiao Din. Liang Liu. Fan Shu Mong. Hao Zhe Peng. Jin Tian. Yong Kai Wu and Mong Yi Zhong. To the degree of Master of Engineering Mining, Zulfika Ali, Chio Jun Ju Pan, and Ashish Kumar Singh. To the degree of Master of Engineering Electronic, Kartik Alipur, Mohammed Sufyan Nadir Hussain Contractor, Yin Jua Gua, Ganesh Methra, Sanika Thakar, Ji Zhong, and Fan Zhung. To the degree of Master of Engineering Electrical, Faro Asan, Da Di, Yu Chin Wu, Ming De Jiong, Usman Khalid Ahmed Khan, Chin Hua Li, Guan Chung Liu, Kamal Preet Singh, Su Rei Shi, Zhu Jingjie, Chang Jung, Hong Yi Jung, and Xue Chong Jung. To the degree of Master of Engineering Civil and Structural, Himanshu Agarwal, Ji Chen, Ahmad Mohammed Yoshri Hassan Jolal Ahmad, Xiang Yu Hao, Akshay Sunil Jadav, Akshay Kagatekar, Mohit Hatri, Alo Seth Timanu, Huai Bao Vo, Ya Yao Wang, and Chao Wei Zhang. To the degree of Master of Engineering Chemical, Anand Krishnan, Bowen Chen, Kun Chen, Zara Rezai, Xue Ru Wong, Yongyan Zong, Hong Zhang, Yusen Zhang, and Chungping Zhuang. To the degree of Master of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Experimental and Numerical Investigations on Behaviour of URM Walls Subjected to In-Plane Loading, Young Cole Park. For a thesis entitled Optical Diagnostics of Soot Formation in Low Pressure Laminar Premixed Flames, Dr. Safar Mohammed Al-Ghorani. For a thesis entitled Development of High Performance Cathodic Catalysts for Non-Aqueous Lithium Oxide Batteries, Dr. Chi B. For a thesis entitled Geochronology of Iron Oxides and Development of Matrix-Matched Reference Material for Routine Uranium-Lead Dating, Dr. Liam Courtney Davies. For a thesis entitled Evaluation of Metallurgical Recovery Factors for Diamonds Recovered from Kimberlites, Dr. Stephen John Coward. For a thesis entitled Improved Implementation of Scenario Neutral Climate Impact Assessments for Water Resource Systems, Dr. Sam Anthony Cully. For a thesis entitled Multivariate Statistical Analysis of Geochemical Data to Constrain the Evolution, Mineralisation and Alteration Signals of IOCG and BIF-hosted deposits, Maria Dimitrova. For a thesis entitled Genesis of the Blackbush Uranium Deposit, South Australia, Dr. Urs Emmanuel Domnick. For a thesis entitled The Hydrodynamics of Gulf St Vincent, South Australia, Dr. Henry Charles Powell Ellis. For a thesis entitled Investigations of Ultra-High Performance Fibre Reinforced Concrete Column, Dr. Chun Fung Fong. For a thesis entitled Multi-Scale Modelling of a Pharmaceutical Fluidised Bed Coating Process, Dr. Fawad Farivar. For a thesis entitled Development of Eco-Friendly and High-Performance Construction Materials and Technologies, Dr. Ali Akbar Golompur. For a thesis entitled Integrated Motor System Estimation Using Efficiency Maps, Dr. Gabriel Graham Haynes. For a thesis entitled Mechanical Simulation of the Passive Confinement of Reinforced Concrete for Design, Dr. Xin Kai Hao. For a thesis entitled Influence of Potassium and Sodium Salts, Calcium and Phosphorus on Agglomeration Behaviour of Biomass and Quartz Sand under Combustion and Gasification Atmospheres, Dr. Zamong He. For a thesis entitled Advanced Engineering of Nanoporous Anodic Alumina Photonic Crystals for Optical Sensing Applications, Dr. Su-Wen Cheryl Law. For a thesis entitled Methods for Detecting and Monitoring of Sleep-Disordered Breathing in Children Using Overnight Polysomnography. Should have practiced that one more. Dr. Xiao Liu. For a thesis entitled Formation, Control and Reconfiguration Strategy of Multi-Agent Systems, Dr. Yutong Liu. For a thesis entitled Ultra-Wideband and Multi-State Reconfigurable Antennas with Sum and Difference Radiation Patterns, Dr. Sayed Ali Malakuti. For a thesis entitled Decision Making for Oil and Gas Projects Using Front-End Loading and Decision Analysis More Effectively, Dr. David Newman. For a thesis entitled Reaction Kinetics for Hydrothermal Liquefaction of Biomass, Dr. Reem Abaid. For a thesis entitled The Mineralogical Deportment of Radionuclides in South Australian Copper, Gold, Uranium Ores, Dr. Nicholas Daniel Owen. For a thesis entitled Coherent Change Detection Under a Forest Canopy, Dr. Paul Benjamin Pincus. For a thesis entitled Foresight for Risk Using Scenarios for Strategic Risk Assessment and Management of Emergent Disaster Risk, Dr. Graham Angus Riddle. For a thesis entitled Sleep Arousal and Cardiovascular Dynamics, Dr. Soban Salari Shabolbaki. For a thesis entitled The Impact of Rolling Dynamic Compaction, Dr. Brendan Timothy Scott. For a thesis entitled Copper and Copper Alloy Electrocatalysts for the Conversion of Carbon Dioxide to Fuels, Dr. Anthony Joseph Vasilev. For a thesis entitled Analysing Ancient Focus Fluid Flow Systems in Offshore Sedimentary Basins of Australia, Dr. Tayalan Velayutham. For a thesis entitled A Combined Theoretical Experimental Numerical Approach to Characterisation and Modelling of Rock Fracture and Rock Burst, Dr. Rupesh Kumar Virma. For a thesis entitled Elemental Detection at Ambient Conditions by Libs and Microwave-Assisted Libs, Dr. Mohammed Abdul Wakil. For a thesis entitled Quantification of Linear and Non-Linear Flow Behaviours in a Rock Fracture with the Complex Void Geometry, Dr. Juhe Wong. For a thesis entitled Behaviour of High and Ultra-High Performance Fibre Reinforced Concrete Flexural Members, Dr. Tian Yu Xie. For a thesis entitled Reconfigurable Antennas Based on Varactor-Loaded Stubs, Dr. Siti Naila Mastura Benta Zainari. For a thesis entitled Paired Impulse Response Function and Layer Peeling Method for Anomaly Detection and Condition Assessment of Pipelines, Dr. Wei Zhang. For a thesis entitled Smart Materials for Cartilage and Bone Tissue Engineering, Dr. Xiaobin Zhong. And for a thesis entitled Study on Performance of Cement Paste Backfill with Different Binder Under Various Situation, Dr. Yue Zhao. Chancellor, this concludes the graduates from the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences and for this event.
Chancellor, every year the university presents university medals to acknowledge the most outstanding graduates in each faculty who have completed a University of Adelaide bachelor's degree with honours or bachelor's degree of at least 4 years' duration. The university medals are awarded to them for their consistent outstanding performance across the whole of their undergraduate studies. I, Professor Mike Brooks, Interim Vice-Chancellor and President of the University of Adelaide, present to you recipients of the 2019 University Medal from the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences. Samuel Michael Bereza. Tatiana Hopchenko. And Braden David Rose. I now present to you recipients of the 2019 University Medal from the Faculty of Engineering, Computer and Mathematical Sciences, Keshika Shalani Alagiaga. Liam James Flaherty. And Rami Zahir. Chancellor, University Doctoral Research Medals are awarded to graduates who have completed outstanding research at doctoral level. This award is the premier award for doctoral candidates at the university. I, Professor Mike Brooks, present to you recipients of the 2019 University Doctoral Research Medal for research in the field of civil, environmental and mining engineering, Ling An Li. And Yi Yang. For research in the field of chemical engineering and advanced materials, William Mark Kaiser. And Suen Cheryl Law.
Congratulations to all of the graduates who have been presented today. Each of us have overcome our own challenges to get where we are, and we should all be proud of the success that we've achieved. Thank you to all the staff seated on stage to support the graduates, and thank you also to the family members, friends and staff who are watching the live stream of the event. We truly appreciate the contributions that you've each made to our university journey. Please join me in congratulating the graduates.
I'm very pleased to now present to you James Stewart Feeney, who was presented this morning with the honours degree of Bachelor of Engineering. James will now give the valedictory address on behalf of the cohort of graduates who are presented with their awards today.
Thank you. I know this isn't the graduation we all expected when we began our studies, but it also isn't the year we expected. I wanted to thank the University of Adelaide for finding a way for us to celebrate our accomplishments in these uncertain times. There must have been a tremendous amount of work and stress that went on behind the scenes to make this happen, and it means a lot to me, as I'm sure it does to my classmates. We all deserve to celebrate our achievements, both for our sake and for the sake of those who supported us, many of who could not be here today. Although they could not be here today, I'm sure we are all in their thoughts and have made them all incredibly proud. The world has changed so much over the last year, and we have lost many of the things we loved about normal life. Fortunately, many Australians are starting to see a glimpse of normal life return. And when this is all over, everyone will have a newfound appreciation of the seemingly simple things we lost. Like going to your favourite cafe, playing sport, or most importantly, seeing friends and family. I wanted to take a step back from the events of the last year and go back to my first year at university. I started my degree in the Flexible Entry Engineering program. I chose this program as I knew I wanted to study engineering, but I had no idea what type. This program gave me exposure into some of the main engineering disciplines, and I ended up learning some fundamental lessons that I believe every engineer should know. Like in civil engineering, how you can't bend concrete. In mechanical engineering, how you can't push ropes. Or in electrical and electronic engineering, how you can save a few dollars on dice if you build your own electronic dice. At the end of the first year, I decided to choose electrical and electronic engineering. This was a bold choice, as I didn't really know anything about electrical and electronic engineering, apart from that brief exposure in my first year. The reason I chose this discipline was because to me, there was so much to learn and seemingly endless opportunity. In the year that followed, I felt like a bit of a fish out of water. The courses were challenging, and I didn't feel like I had a solid understanding of the material. Fortunately, as the years progressed, I became more confident in my ability, and slowly but surely, I climbed the steep learning curve of transitioning from high school to university. I realise now, only in hindsight, that many of you sitting here today may have had the same feeling at some point during your own studies. That feeling of self-doubt is so natural and often comes when we're out of our comfort zone. I'm sure that these same feelings will emerge again at some point as we progress into our respective careers. I feel comfortable that if they do, I will look back at those same times at university and realise that they are only temporary, and as we learn and grow, they fade. I've met so many incredibly bright people over my time at the University of Adelaide, many of which I owe for helping me through tough group assignments or gain a better understanding of a challenging concept. Standing here before you today and looking at the many faces I have met and have not met, I'm confident that we can all make a difference in the years to come. Whether these differences are at work, within your community, or beyond, from the people I've met at this university and what I've seen them achieve in such a short time, I have no doubt. This last year has made it difficult for us to celebrate and recognise our achievement. So I'd like to leave you all with the following quote from Dr. Seuss. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. So when you leave here today, take the time to celebrate with your friends and family because you all deserve it. Thank you.
It now gives me great pleasure to congratulate all of the new graduates who are here today. Be proud of what you've worked to achieve, and remember those who've supported you as you've achieved it. I wish you every success as you enter this new and exciting stage of your lives. As graduates of the University of Adelaide, you are also its alumni and its ambassadors. Over the years, since this university was established, its alumni have made an enormous contribution in this country and all around the world. Today, you join this community of over 147,000 alumni, located in more than 134 countries around the globe. We also have 17 global alumni networks, including 8 international networks. I'd now like to take this opportunity to thank the mace bearers and the valedictorian and all who assisted in the organisation and running of today's event. Could I now ask all of the graduates to remain seated while I invite the stage party to stand and once again join with me in congratulating all graduates on their achievements. Would the graduates now please stand for the academic recession? Once the recession has left the hall, please remain at your seats until directed to exit by one of our COVID marshals. I now declare this congregation adjourned.